Hello, 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 everyone. Grand Rising. I hope you guys are having a great Thursday so far. I know today of the week. Yes, I'm moving up in the game. Okay. Hey, Miss Dolores. Hello there. How are you? Hey, Lolita. Hello there. Teresa. Hello there. Hello, hello, hello. I'm running a little behind this morning, guys. Had a little bit of technical difficulties right before starting. I will be listening as usual. Thank you, Miss Teresa. I appreciate it. Make sure that you guys do share share if you can and share to someone who cares about what's going on around the world because it is definitely crazy. Okay. Hey Deja. Hello there. How are you? Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Alrighty, guys. So this story right here is kind of crazy. A woman basically was ready to off her ex and his child simply because he didn't want her anymore. Um, One thing I can say is that the ego is very dangerous. And if a person doesn't have control of their ego, things like this happens. Um, but this is a crazy, crazy, crazy case. Okay. So this is the case of Jaclyn Diaro is her name, or Diario, however you want to say it, Diario, one of the two. This is her. Kind of crazy. Okay. And this happened out there in Camden, New Jersey, where she has been charged with attempted double homicide and murder conspiracy as well. So Jaclyn Diario, she is a 26-year-old woman from out there in Runmaid, not sure how they pronounce it out there, New Jersey, and she stands accused of attempting to orchestrate a murder for hire plot targeting a 53-year-old ex-boyfriend out there in Philadelphia, and he was a police officer at the time, and his 19-year-old daughter. So the two had been dating in a relationship since March the 6th of 2025. I know you're probably thinking to yourself, that just happened. Yes, she fell in love since March the 6th of 2025. So Diario had previously filed a temporary restraining order against her ex-boyfriend in August of 2024, which was later withdrawn. So apparently, after they had broke up from the years prior, within these last couple of months is where she decided that she wanted to be a little bit obsessive. Um, and she basically waited until after the breakup, even though she tried to put protective order out on him last year. She tried to put a to murder him this year. Okay. Kind of crazy to think that a person would feel like that they need protection when indeed he's the one that needs it. So investigators also alleged that Diario had met the man who turned out to be a co- had met a man that turned out to be a confidential informant later after all of this had happened with her and the police officer. So she met this confidential informant on Tinder on March the 31st of 2025. Okay. So over the period of days, she allegedly had discussed her plans to pay the informant $12,000 in order to carry out the killing of her ex-boyfriend. So her motive is to believe to be personal revenge stemming from their volatile breakup in which her and the police officer had, as well as her alleged desire to avoid law enforcement scrutiny by targeting the officer's daughter first. Okay. So that's what she was trying to do. So Diario had first met the informant at a Wawa out there in New Jersey on March the 31st. So from March 31st to April the 3rd, they exchanged multiple calls and text messages. Now, during these text messages and these conversations, Diario had allegedly acknowledged the target was a police officer, expressed a desire to start with the daughter in order to avoid immediate attention from law enforcement, and also referred to the previous failed murder plot attempts and demanded proof of death as well. She basically wanted this informant to kill this officer and his daughter, and then send her proof that it was done in exchange for the $12,000. She basically says, "Bro, I've seen fake pics. I've had someone send me a trash bag before." Okay, is what this whole conversation was. Yeah, she's crazy. Yeah, this one's a little crazy. So on April the 3rd, the informant had then alerted the Camden Police Department. Okay. And they also then contacted the prosecutor's office and things of that nature in regards to starting an investigation into Jaclyn and all of her crazy actions. So the Philadelphia police were then notified and confirmed the ex-boyfriend's identity to ensure that this man actually does exist and this is not some dating app, fantasy that they had going on. So he told the investigators that Diario was his barber and that they were in a year-long relationship that had ended weeks before all of this had happened. Okay. So they were he was her barber at first. He then began to have these extra, relations with this woman. Things then went left. They broke up, and then the weeks after the breakup is when she contacted the informant in a effort to kill him. Okay. So on March the 6th, Diario and the victim, which was the Philadelphia police officer, had ended the relationship. On March the 31st, Diario had met the man on Tinder. That was later to be revealed as a confidential informant. And then they had their first meeting. Okay. On March the 31st through April the 3rd, that is when all these text exchanges had happened. And this is just the clear out timeline. The informant then reported it on April the 3rd, and then the detectives had contacted the police department. So on April the 4th of this year, Diario had met with the informant at a Dollar Tree, okay, out there in New Jersey, provided a $500 down payment of cash, and then after the handoff, that's when the police officers had then arrested her right then and there because she has officially made the exchange as if she thought that this man was about to go ahead and decide to kill her boyfriend, okay? Her ex-boyfriend. They also found a bottle of Xanax without any labels that was found on her. So when it comes to the evidence in this case that against this woman is of course the text messages with these explicit instructions in order to, plan the murder, and then you have the conversation about how she had received fake evidence in the past attempts. Um, so this lets the officers know that this isn't her first time trying to kill this man. Okay. She's done this multiple times before. It's just that the hitmen that she was talking to allegedly they attempted to send her off some fake evidence that he was already deceased and he was not dead. So she already had a killer's instinct while leading up to meeting this informant. So in 2022, the officer's home was reportedly hit with a Molotov cocktail, and Diario had allegedly referenced the incident to the informant, suggesting that there could be some deeper grievances there because she had threw this Molotov in his house previously. That is also being held against her as well as evidence, showing her past history of trying to do something or kill this man. So there also was a forensic recovery where officers had then found controlled substances, of course, the Xanax, on her without prescription, as well as surveillance footage that was at the dollar store that confirmed her meetup with the informant slash hitman that she thought she had hired. So as of right now, she's on 2 counts of first degree attempt murder, 1 count of first degree conspiracy to commit murder, 1 count of third degree possession of a controlled dangerous substance, and she is currently being held without bond. So, her next court date is scheduled for June the 11th of this year, of course. Her attorney is arguing that Diario was manipulated by a rogue, unsupervised, confidential informant and that her statements was coerced. That's what her lawyer is trying to say. Okay, lawyer, so what about the Molotov? Because I can hear them saying this in the courtroom. So let's say what you're saying is true, but what about the previous Molotov? And what about the text messages that she had already alluded to the fact that she had tried this before, but someone had sent her fake receipts that he was deceased? How are you going to back that part up? Like what part of that is going to be backed up? But for her to switch from previous to the breakup, she had already tried to get a protective order. And then she turns around and decide, wait, no, I'm going to just kill him so rapidly and crazy. I can only imagine what a relationship with this woman was like. I can only imagine that this woman possibly was a hellraiser in the midst of this, and this police officer possibly realized that he has caught the wrong fish. And he knew to threw this fish, he knew to throw this fish back in the water. Because if she would meet someone on a Tinder dating app, have a full-blown conversation about wanting to kill her ex with a complete stranger, I can only imagine the type of things in which this woman um took this police officer through. Honestly and truly. And she's a hairstylist, by the way. Um, and yeah, he apparently was she was oh he was over there getting his hair done with her, and and that's how they became to be dating and things of that nature and all of that. I think I said earlier that he was a barber. No, she does the hair, guys. So take that off the record. She does the hair and he's a police officer. Um 6 likes out of 11. Yes, please like this video if you like this video. She would she wouldn't be doing my hair. But the thing is this, how heartbroken does one must be if you decide that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, okay, after being in a relationship with someone, instead of I always wonder what drives a person to wake up and decide, okay, you know what? He wants to kill me. Okay, that's fine. That's cute. Well, I'm just gonna off his daughter, and I'm gonna also off him as well. And I'm gonna pay someone to do it. Like, what level of heartbreak is that? And honestly, I'm gonna be honest. This police officer possibly was a really nice guy, you know, and she possibly felt as though that she has lost this really like nice guy. Okay, he's a police guy. And she possibly felt like that she lost out, and if I can't have him, no one can. But the fact that you go even further to say, "You know what? I'm gonna kill his daughter to throw it off so that the police officers, they won't be looking at me." Okay? Yes, I started off as his hairstylist. And yes, we began to date, and I possibly got a little bit personal with him. But now he doesn't want me anymore. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kill him. And I'm also gonna add his teenage daughter into it too, just to throw this off. And thank God that the informant wasn't really a hitman, okay? Thank God for that. And thank God that this wasn't someone that was truly desperate for $12,000. But imagine even someone taking the opportunity to throw their life away for $12,000, okay? So something is telling me that this woman has already been crazy. And this officer possibly should have been the one with the protective order that was needed. Okay. Um, Now when it comes to her having this prior trying to get this restraining order that did not go through, her lawyer is stating that the reason why that restraining order didn't go through is due to harassment and manipulation. But that goes absolutely in the trash, sir, because it looks like to me that the officer is the one that needs the restraining order and not her. The fact that she actually even either had someone to throw a Molotov in his house or she is the one that did it, he possibly has been the one that was getting, you know, assaulted and getting harassed and manipulated if she took it this far. Who goes searching on Tinder for a hitman? I think it possibly turned over to like, okay, maybe she was dating at first, right? And then her and this guy gets a little personal. Then she begins to pillow talk about her ex-boyfriend. And then the conversation comes up about her possibly, taking the time to order previous hits. So then the informant guy, his sensors then goes off and say, "Okay, well let me help you. Let me help you make this hit." Because he knows what his plans is going to be from the very beginning. which was to go right to the informant because I mean go right to the authority. Because I'm gonna tell you why I think that happened that way. Because they broke up, right? So they ended their relationship on March the 6th. She met the man on Tinder on March the 31st. Okay. And that's when they had their first in person conversation at the Dollar Tree. So something tells me within those weeks after the breakup, she possibly went back on Tinder looking for new dates and things of that nature. And things got a little bit personal and they began to have conversations and one thing led to another and he realized that he had a killer on his hands. So then it kind of rapidly grew to a hit. Because for you to meet someone, I mean for you to break up with someone, okay, on March the 6th and you break up with someone on March the 6th, you meet the informant on March the 31st, and then the informant tells you on April the 3rd, this man already had this in mind. He basically possibly just needed her to meet with him because the transaction she has to show some form of transaction to show that she's serious about this hit. So when he received that $500 payment, the police was already alerted already. And that's why immediately when she made that transaction, she was taken away in cuffs because he had already conversated with the authorities, and they possibly alerted him. Okay, let's get this $500 transaction so that we can know that this is something that she seriously wants to do, and then we're going to arrest her when we see she do it. Now, let's say she did not show up. Let's say she did not show up for this so-called meeting and this arrangement for the down payment. It wouldn't really been enough to prove that it was something that she really wanted to do. It could have literally been just like social media banter, social media talk, Things happen like that on dating apps where people just concoct stories. You guys know that. So I think that's what it was. I don't even think that she even you know, went on there looking for an informant. But, the Lord has a funny way of placing people in position. And because she had already tried to do this before, I think this is the Lord's work of when she finally met the right one. Okay. And due to the fact that this is someone that is a police officer, when you are a servant of the community, you already are handed blessings anyway, because you are a servant of the community. When you do, when you know, you're so his job sows seeds itself. So I like to look at situations like this as the Lord's work, because this officer's daily duty sowed his seeds of a blessing from the Lord that this woman stumbled upon an informant and not a real hitman. And she continued to stumble upon people who showed her fake receipts of him being deceased. That's how I look at this case. This is truly a case of the Lord's work, honestly and truly. I don't think she went on there looking for a hitman. I really don't. Not one bit do I think she did, you know? Um, but when it comes to this whole dating app thing, I always tell people all the time, okay? And I can't even say what I normally say in this case, which is meet people in a public place because this person did. But just be even before you meet people, okay? Because you can look at this like this. That conversation let that man know that this wasn't a dating situation and he has his hands on a murderer. And I'm talking about the guy that's on Tinder. Okay? So take time to converse. That's what I will say. The lesson in this case is when you're working on dating apps, take time to conversate. Don't be so quick to jump into meeting up with someone, because through this weeks long of about a week or so, 2 weeks or so, um, he learned that this woman wanted to kill her ex. So take some time to simply converse with the person, because some people do got the habit of they'll meet someone on Tinder or one of these dating apps, and then the next day they're out on this date, and then crazy stuff happens. Take time to conversate with people so that you can really get an understanding of this person's character. I tell you guys all the time, it only takes 60 days to find out a person's true intentions. The first 30 they're going to spend trying to hide it, and the last 30 is when it's going to come out. okay? Their true selves is going to begin to bloom like a flower in the spring, okay? Within 60 days. And it may sound crazy and it may sound strange, but it's true. The first 30, they're going to do what you want them to do. They're going to say what you expect them to say. They're going to dress themselves up as your dream person. And it's because if you go into it telling them everything that you expect from a person, they're going to dress themselves up as just that. So it's very important that you're mindful of the conversations in which you're having. Don't give so much information about yourself and what you expect because people they're very inclined to turn into that person. And they will dress themselves up as that person until they can't do it anymore. It's hard for people to be other people besides themselves. It is really, really hard. So it's only so long that they can kind of like, hide it. It's going to come out. They normally tell you who they are eventually. Eventually, they'll tell you who they are, either it be through action or conversation. So it's important to take time to converse, take time to get to know this person. You know, this man stumbled upon, but it makes me wonder, does Tinder have informants over there? It makes me wonder if he's already on Tinder as well as an informant, guys, because I wouldn't be surprised if they do, you know, for like people who are like trying to deal with kids and, people that are committing crime. Makes you wonder. I wonder if they already have, I wonder if he's already, because you know why I say that? They're calling him an informant. They're not calling him a witness or, someone reported or, you know, um, one of those things, those titles that they typically use or, they're calling him an informant. So it makes me wonder, does Tinder have hired informants? And from my understanding, a lot of people took positions as informants. I think they said informants make about $70,000 a year or more to be an informant. There are positions out there for that. So I wouldn't be surprised. And due to all the crimes that happen on there too, they possibly do have hired informants over there. Could be one of those places where people do shady things. Oh, it is. What is that movie that showed what is it's a movie about Tinder where a man I think he was doing some type of crazy stuff to women. It's a whole movie about Tinder. It's hold on, let me give it to you. His name is what is the name of that movie? The Tinder Swindler. That's what it's called. Yeah, the Tinder Swindler. Yeah, and it's about a man that was out there swindling women over out there it's on Netflix. So the movie is about the Tinder app. Okay, it's a documentary that tells a true story of a man who used Tinder to scam women out of millions of dollars by posing as a wealthy diamond mogul. Yeah, so it's some crazy stuff that goes on Tinder. Okay, Tinder is one of those places. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Bigo, you guys do not have me today. All right. You are on your own. All right. You do not have me today. I will tell you guys, I have been consistently going to the gym all week. My body is in pain, but I love it. Remember, I told you guys I was starting the gym on Tuesday? I actually love it. I went yesterday too. I'm actually enjoying it more than I thought I would. For real. For reals, for reals. I really like it. I thought you was kidding me at first about the Tinder movie. No, I'm serious. No, it's really a movie. You can watch it. It's on Netflix. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm really liking the gym. So it's my body is hurting for the most part because I don't really work out, but I'm liking the way that it feels. It's really refreshing. Maybe because I'm older now, so the gym it's not as bad for me, but I'm really liking it there. It seems it's like a jungle gym for adults. That's how. That's how I look at it. It's like a jungle. It's like a playhouse for adults, guys. So I'm really liking it. I really am. Alrighty, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Um, don't know what I'm going to be discussing as of yet, but make sure that you stay tuned to the Spaces app because you guys always get to know the notifications. And if you have notifications on YouTube as well, you get them. But if you don't, make sure that you turn your notifications on so that you can. I'll be posting it later on today. Okay. Have a great, great day, guys. And thank you for watching True Crime with Savage Royalty.